Marisha coming at you here with another video on the differences between the US and the UK when it comes to eggs. Because I've learned some more since I made my first video, and we're just coming off of Easter, so it seemed timely to do this video. The first difference is how we eat our eggs and the terminology that we use when doing so. So I was out to breakfast with a friend and ordered a full English, and the waitress asked how I wanted my egg done. And to be honest, it's the first time that anyone's ever asked me that here. Usually it just sort of comes standard fried. Um, and so when she asked, I said over easy. And she looked at me with confusion. It was clear that she had never heard the term over easy before. And so I wanted to check and see if this was a British thing or if this was just this person. So I asked a couple of my other friends if they'd ever heard of cooking eggs over easy, and they said, "Nope, I have no idea what that is." So apparently that's an American thing, and I ended up having a whole discussion about it with one of my friends and explaining what sunny side up is and over easy, and that yeah, there's over hard, although I don't know anybody who takes their eggs that way. And they said I might have been able to guess that it was like a term for how to cook an egg, but I wouldn't necessarily know exactly what it meant in terms of how it was actually cooked. So if you're an American, you come over here and someone asks how you want your eggs, just understand they might not know what you mean if you say over easy or sunny side up. But my American friends probably wouldn't know what I meant if I said I was having eggs and soldiers. So, eggs and soldiers is a British thing, and the egg is soft boiled, and then the soldiers are strips of buttered toast that they dip into the egg. And I learned about, I can't remember where I learned about this, probably reading a story or something. But then I was in Aldi and they had these great plates that are made for eggs and soldiers. So you can see it's a nice wood board, really. And they have the divots for the eggs that you can put the soft boiled eggs in, so you don't have to have egg cups. And then here, where you would just put the soldiers, they put an actual knight, which I think is so cute and so very British. So I just had to buy it, even though I probably am not ever going to actually eat eggs and soldiers because I've never soft boiled an egg in my life. I actually, you know what? I should try it sometime just to say that I have. The other difference has to do with the color of eggs, and that is that in America, we know that the preference is for white eggs. In fact, it can be really difficult to find brown eggs in the States, and they're usually marked up at a premium. It's kind of the opposite over here. It's mostly brown eggs, and it's harder to find white eggs. I will say that for me, I don't really care either way because I know that the taste and the nutrition is the same. Like the color of the eggshell really has no bearing on what you're actually consuming. And I think probably, some of the Brits that I've talked to don't really care one way or the other, but one of them did say, yeah, a lot of British people really prefer brown eggs. And I hadn't really taken conscious notice of it. It probably subconsciously I did realize I'm seeing a lot more brown eggs than white, and sometimes I'm buying brown eggs because really whichever is cheaper at whatever store I'm in. Until Easter rolled around and I wanted to dye eggs, and I thought, I don't think brown eggs are gonna dye as well, right, as white eggs. So then I was on a hunt for white eggs and realized just how rare they are. There's really only one store, and that's Waitrose, where you can get white eggs for a reasonable price. It's in their essential line, which is sort of like their store brand, generic, cheaper line. Um, but other than that, if you're going to Tesco, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, anywhere else, you're either not going to Aldi Little, you're not going to find white eggs at all, or if you do, you're paying a premium for them. So I actually ended up going to Aldi and getting brown eggs, but finding like the palest brown eggs that I could. So I was like actually opening up multiple packs and switching them out to create my own 6 pack of the palest brown eggs that I could find. And I will say that they dyed fine. It definitely is a different shade than what it would have turned out on a white egg, but they were still, a nice, vibrant color. And you could tell that it was, died and that was Eastery and festive and everything. But so, colors of the eggshells, which has always sort of confused me why people care because, like I said, nutritionally and taste wise, they're exactly the same. It doesn't matter. Um, and the way that they're cooked are a couple more differences in how we do eggs between the two countries. Like, subscribe, tell your friends how gnarly this channel is, and I'll see you next time.